Hey guys, it's Josie again with Two Sisters Homestead. So today we are going to be talking about sacrifices and the sacrifices that we have had to make with trying to start our own homestead and learning all these new things and coming up with the funds to be able to do all the things that we plan on doing and things like that. So I am 28. My husband is 36. My sister is 30 and her husband is 31 or 32, something like that. I don't know. And so we're pretty young for this kind of thing. You really don't see too many younger people doing the homestead thing, and it's just because we really don't think about certain things like going on in the world or anything like that until later on, until we get older, until we have more experience in life and actually are, finally settling down and having a family and, really deciding what we want in life. So it takes time and it takes, a lot of money to be able to do this. Like, things are not cheap in this world, especially nowadays with how the economy is and things like that. Like, I can go to the grocery store and buy $100 worth of groceries, and it's like just a couple of bags, and I'm like, where did my money go? So when I talk about sacrifices, so the sacrifices that me and my husband have had to do were to we bought a house, but in order for us to be able to save up the money that we needed to and things like that, we rented out our house to my sister-in-law, and she rents out the house. Maybe at some point she might buy it. If not, then we'll just continue to rent it out. So we get a little bit of extra income from renting it out to her. And then we moved into my adopted mom's house. They are traveling nurses, and so their house was just sitting here empty anyway, and so they allowed us to be able to stay in it, and we pay, rent and stuff like that. However, it's not as much as what we were paying at my house. So that helped a lot. That's made it where we are able to save more money and be able to put that back for the things we're needing to do. And then with the house, we got approved for our house that we're going to be getting put on the land in February. And we did have to put a big down payment. However, we had already been starting to save money and put money back for that. And we're continuing to save. So we just keep on doing just only what we need to do, maybe a little bit extra, but the rest is just going all into savings. So when it's time, we could have money, because you have to remember, we still have to pay for the water to get ran to the house and the septic tank and hooking up the electricity to the home and stuff like that. So that is going to take money. So we have already been saving for that. So that's one of the sacrifices that we had to do, was move out of our own home that we had owned and move into somebody else's house and, live like this until February, which is good and stuff like that. However, it becomes, it's somebody else's house. So being in somebody else's house, it could be a little bit stressful because you don't want to mess up anything, especially when you have kids and things like that. However, it's worked out fine, and I'm very appreciative of them, so appreciative of them. Another sacrifice is I'm not able to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be home more with my son. However, I'm not able to because we have to have more money to be able to do all this stuff. And so that means I'm working in an office with Michael at his job where he's the assistant manager at, and stuff like that. And sometimes I am able to work from home and things, but I'm having to sacrifice being a stay-at-home mom and having to work. I'm used to working. I've worked ever since I've been with Michael and before Michael, so that's not really a problem. But having a baby and having to put him in daycare is a little bit hard for me sometimes. Another sacrifice is Michael has a side business that he does on the weekends. He does really well with it, and he's just been constantly being booked and booking things for his business so that we can have that extra money as well. So he's gone most of the weekends. Most weekends we are not together. Most weekends we do not have family time or anything like that because he is always gone. Him and Terrence both work with the side business, so they're both gone. So that gets hard sometimes because every now and then we have to say, okay, it's time to stop for a weekend. Let's have some family time and let's do what we need to do, and have, do something fun with the kids so that we can, be there as a family and stuff, because when you're just constantly just working and working and working, it can honestly take a toll on you. And so that's a sacrifice, is not being with the whole family all the time, and Michael working a lot and stuff like that. But in the end, we plan on him and his business slowing down a little bit, taking more time, and being able to do what we want to do on the land together and things like that. Another thing is we didn't just buy the land outright. If we did that, that would have been a lot more money than what we were willing to do at the time, or even had at the time. So we came across somebody who, come to find out now, we have mutual friends with, but they bought this huge plot of land, and they sectioned it out into 3-acre sections. And after that 3-acre sections, they are owner financing it. Now, if you owner, I think it's supposed to be for 20 or 25 years. So if you owner finance it for that long, you're paying way more than what anybody needs to be paying for 3 acres of land. So we are owner financing it, and however, we are in the process of paying it off early, many years. Within the next couple of years, we plan on paying off the land, so we don't have to pay that much, so much more for the land, because it's good land and stuff like that. Ours is flat, and 3 acres is cleared and the other is not, and stuff. But we want to pay it off soon so that we don't have to pay that high cost and stuff like that. And so sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes in order to get things started, you have to, owner finance land, or maybe some people even lease their land, and just rent their land and just hope that nothing happens, or all the hard work that they put in it, they're able to keep it there, or maybe eventually be able to buy it or rent to own or something like that. Because it's really hard, unless you have a whole bunch of money, it's really hard to just be able to just put it all out there. And it's really hard just to buy acres of land, especially around here where we live. We even had to go an hour out of the town that we were used to living in, because everything was just so much more expensive in our town, and we just couldn't pay it, and we weren't willing to pay that much money and then be able to go out an hour away for something quite a bit cheaper. So we're just going to have to travel to work, and it's going to suck, but that's part of it. And that's part of being able to, live off of your own land and having your own land and all these things, and being away from people, is you will have to drive. That's part of it. And yet that is another sacrifice, because our job is still out here. We're still going to be working out here. So we're going to have to travel an hour here and an hour back, just to be able to work. And we are so dreading that. That's one of the big things that we are dreading, is having to take that drive Monday through Friday. But it's part of it, and we're going to do it because this is what we want to do in the end. We don't want to have to depend on other people in this world. We don't want to have neighbors, or have to live in a neighborhood where there's an HOA and you have all these rules, and you can't leave your trash can out, or you can't change the color of your front door and stuff like that. That's not what we're wanting for ourselves. So we've had to have many sacrifices. We have sacrificed on things that we do just because everything costs money. And so we slow down a lot on the things that we do, because it just costs, and we're trying to save money for this stuff. We have a house that we're trying to get on the land, which is being built, but will be done in February. We have land that we still have to pay for, and we have a garden beds that we have to pay for, and we need a pretty big garden because we are a big family. However, we're also wanting to be able to give our food to other people as well, so we're going to need even more garden beds for that. And building garden beds or buying garden beds or whatever you decide to do, that is also more money that you're having to put. I have to bring soil in for the garden because our land is nothing but rocks. It's so rocky, I would never be able to plant anything in that ground. So we have to bring tons of soil in and compost in until we can get our own compost started. and things like that. And then in order to be able to clear some of the other 3 acres that we have, we're going to have to rent some equipment for that, and things like that. We're in the process of tonight, actually, we're going to start making a fence, building a fence on the land. We're doing T-post and barbed wire, and that costs money too. The barbed wire is a lot cheaper than any other options. So this is what we're doing for now, and maybe eventually we'll have a better fence, but that's what we're doing. Then we eventually want chickens and maybe a Highland cow and maybe some goats or something like that. So it all just takes money, and there's sacrifices in this to be able to build your own homestead and things like that. It's just part of it. And if this is something you really want to do, then it'll work out perfectly. We are still happy. We still get to do the stuff, we still get to do things that we want to do. However, we have to be more mindful and be like, okay, well, we need to save up this money, so let's hunker down for a month, save all this money, and then be able to the next month be able to get what we want. And then keep on doing it like that, because I've noticed, like, if we just hunker down and save and save and save and save and never do nothing that we want to do or never get anything that we want to do, then it's like, that takes the joy out of it. It takes the fun out of it and things like that. So sometimes you just have to take a little break, do something you want to do, and then continue to save. And we are at the point where we're able to just be able to do that. We don't have much more that we need to save. So we're doing pretty good, and I'm honestly extremely happy about that. So just know that whenever you decide to do anything like this, there are sacrifices, and there's many things that you're going to have to pay for, and there's many things that money just might come, like something just might break or something, and it's just, you're going to have that savings on the side, because you never know what can happen. So don't look at the sacrifices as, oh dang, like I'm gonna have to give up everything that I want to do and stuff like that. And no, it's not that. But at the same time, you have to be aware and mindful of the things that you want to do in your end goal. And our end goal is to be able to be out on our land with our family and to be able to enjoy it out there and be away from everybody and not have all these rules on us, and be able to not depend on others so much, as in, the grocery stores and stuff like that. So just be mindful of those things. And I hope you continue to follow us on this journey. Like I've said before, we are literally building our homestead from the ground up. And I'm just so ready to see what all this has in store for us, what we learn, what lessons we've learned. Also, if there's any videos that you would like us to do or anything like that, then just let us know. A video coming up soon will be about the fence, of us starting it. And that's going to take a few parts, because we only have limited time. So we have to go during the week after work to start it, because Michael is busy all weekend. So we're gonna have to go after work and do it. Some of it might be in the dark, some of it might not be, but we're gonna have to do different times, come out in different times to be able to do that. But please don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, and I hope you stick around. Also, leave me a comment of any videos you want to see coming soon. And yeah, so I hope y'all have a great day, and I will be watching for your comments.